This On, Season 7, Episode 18, where we watch Play-Doh Squished, and where the three of us try not to get squished. I'm Chris Lorenz.
I feel the need to need. This is Brian.
Play-Doh. This is Noah Singer.
Those were
Did I steal yours, Noah?
to the show we watched this week.
No, there was nothing good enough to quit. It was so bad. So I can't even
No. All right,
Play-Doh.
hold on. Last week we watched The Great American Baking Show, and we put a poll on Twitter at Who Put This On to see what you guys thought about the show, and you guys voted the show top third. So tell us what you thought about this show on Twitter at Who Put This On. Brian, what was the show we watched this week?
This week we watched Play-Doh Squished. Play-Doh Squished features 3 teams of fun-loving adults and kids going dough-to-dough in the ultimate holiday competition. The groups compete in 2 physical challenges that culminate in a sculpting event where they must build immersive winter wonderlands out of Play-Doh. In the end, only one team will win a grand prize, while the other team's creations will get squished. Sarah Hyland hosts Play-Doh Squished on Freevee.
Okay, I just want to start this podcast. Max is in here, but I will inform Max that if you start watching a show before everyone else, and the show is targeted at 5-year-olds, do not watch that show. This is not going to be a very interesting to talk about because we thought it was garbage because we're not 5. And I feel almost bad bashing on this show because it's for 5-year-olds. It's not like it's
the thing is, if I was babysitting, I would 100% put this show on and be like, yo, look, let's do some of the stuff that they're doing on there. Let's have fun with it. And I thought it was kind of fun, how the adults were getting into it too. But yeah, I'm ultimately in your boat that I can't just put this on randomly for myself because I'm not the target audience.
No,
it was excruciating. This show, it's like when you're just playing with a 5-year-old and they're like, hey, giving you this stuff, and after you spend 15 minutes with them, you're like, oh, this is real boring as hell. What are we doing? It's that experience in a TV format. It is almost unwatchable.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, the next time anything targeted kids, it just doesn't work. And that's fine. It's not that it need there's certain things that do work and certain things that might don't work, and this does not work at all.
Yeah. To be fair, I watched this immediately as well. It just didn't even cross my mind to be like, hey, we should pull the cord on this. I was like, okay, we found the show, we got a holiday episode, we're kind of locked in. Calling the audible didn't even come up in my mind.
Well, I'm just telling you from the future on, you gotta call audible. We could have watched that Dr. Seuss one. That could have been a better one. I don't know, but this one, not good. Do not encourage you to watch this show. So,
now without a kid.
Yeah, I mean, okay. To Brian's point, I think that if you've got a 5-year-old and you want to do an activity with these people, with them, you could follow along and make fun Play-Doh things and kind of compete along with the show, or just let them watch it. And you could just kind of be on your phone. It's one of those things. You don't need to, but the only reason we did watch this, here's what happened. I was on Amazon. They advertised the show with a holiday special. And we're like, let's do it for Christmas. But we did the other show last week. So then we're just like, oh, we have this holiday special. Let's do this one. And then Noah watched it and then made us all watch it. So it was all Noah's fault.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, we shouldn't discount. We don't know the demographics of our listeners. So if you're a 5-year-old who is
listening to us
podcast and you're on it, hey man, this is for you. This is for you.
Yeah. Tell your parents about us cursing on the show. Yeah. I don't think we're the cleanest of podcasts.
No, but it's on the internet. They can. I wouldn't be shocked. We have a few
Just,
over the
Uh,
years, some 5-year-olds
it's
listening.
fine. All right, so let's get into the minutia of the show. I don't want to get too deep into it, but let's do it. So we got Sarah Hyland is the host, which this is a weird show for her to host. Like she must love kids or something.
I
Like
don't
that's the
know.
only.
So I one of the really redeeming qualities of the show. So I watched 1.5 episodes. Right, I watched like kind of like half of episode
oh,
1 and then episode 16. One of the things I think they've done really well
Oh yeah, we watched episode 16. Sorry.
um, is the teams are modern families, like in the descriptive terms, right? Like it is very rare to have like the common nuclear family as a team. There was one team on episode 16, but otherwise it was like a step parent or like the nanny or like a gym teacher. Like that was a
Their best
pretty
friend.
common setup. Best friend, right? And so I think they kind of had this through line of like not trying to portray everyone is this normal quote unquote family. It's like no, the family of today is diverse and it's all different, which I think is cool.
Just to be clear, I think Sarah Hyland might be the highlight of the whole show. She's like upbeat. She's bringing energy. She's trying to like pull this thing together. She's interacting with the families well. Uh, she's great. It's just like to go from like super successful sitcom to like random reality show host on Freevee, which who knows? The paycheck from Freevee might have been pretty good for considering they're like almost still in like kind of a soft launch or like a
Mhm.
recently launched phase for Freevee. So like who knows?
It's
But
not a terrible bet for her, right? To like be the host and going from sitcom, like spreading her like wings a bit. And it's one of the like marquee shows for Freevee. So I don't think we'll get to it, but I don't think it's actually a terrible downgrade, right? Like Modern Family's a home run that's hard to hit a bunch. So I think it's like actually a pretty reasonable like next step.
well, we can say that this is not her apex.
No. No.
just
I,
just so we don't have to come back to it later. But
yeah, it's
I
hard
don't
to compete
know.
with Modern Family.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Trying to see what she's done since Modern Family. Not a whole hell of a lot. She was in a podcast. She's in the Pitch Perfect TV show.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
she's
but I
in
mean, like,
something called My Fake Boyfriend. So
yeah, I just think being on like such a long running sitcom, that's definitely apex compared to just hosting your own show for one season right now.
I love how this show isn't even listed on her IMDb.
Really?
Dang, yeah.
Even
I
though
was looking
Amazon production, right? Like Amazon to Amazon, they gotta tie that
up
up.
to just telling you it's
Oh
not
no, no,
here.
she is. She's in a producer mark versus actress.
Okay, well, I don't
That's
really understand how this new IMDb thing works.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's also weird that they just highlight like one section that's just like the biggest, and then you have to go into these drop downs. No bueno.
yeah,
hmm.
no thanks, IMDb. But I was looking. There's apparently two different Play-Doh squished IMDb pages, which is really weird. And
Hmm.
then one of them has like there's like a ton of like guest judges. Like
Yeah,
the mom comes back. They've got I wish I had it in front of me. They had like Wrinkle or something. A bunch of
Rob
other
Riggle.
like
Yeah,
yeah. Like they had a bunch of like I think who was our guest judge who was on our the football player last week? What's his name?
Marshawn
Marshawn.
Lynch.
Yeah, he's a guest judge one
Oh,
episode.
that's fun.
We
Okay.
could, we could have done that episode as a connecting thing, but
Hmm.
obviously we want to do the holiday one. Yeah. So who was there? I actually missed who the guest judge was on this week. Did anyone catch that?
I don't think there was one really, or like the
Th-
judges at the end, they weren't famous, at least to me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because the one is always the judge. I wrote her name down, but I can't see it for some reason.
Yeah, I
Alexandra.
didn't recognize the guy, but yeah, the other episodes they definitely had, at least in my view, more famous people.
Yeah, Alexandra was the host, which she's an artist that qualifies her for Play-Doh judge hosting duties, I guess, judging duties.
The show has a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb. Come on, like, okay, I'm now convinced 5-year-olds are running the internet.
We're definitely not running the internet. Like at the very least, teenagers are. Like we're not the internet's done for us, dude. We should get off of it.
And teenagers aren't even liking the show.
So there are two. Again, there are two. The real one is 6.1. One's a special. And
you're right. Yeah, I see. Huh. Anyway, so going over the format of the show, I think one thing is at a high level, that I was a little bummed that this was not Lego Masters with Play-Doh. I really thought this was going to be, and I was like, that could be cool. And it was not. It was Double Dare, and instead of slime, they had Play-Doh. Not exact, but like it was much more.
Here's the thing. They got 3 teams. They got a set of challenges. The end, there's a winner. Okay, that's the episode. Each episode has a different set of 3. So one thing I think that we're missing out here is that when you're dealing with, it's the ages of these kids, I feel like it would be hard to get them to do a whole season of television. Like,
right. Well, that's the thing. Like, you wouldn't have kids, right? Like, you'd go for the
expert. Yeah.
And it's literally Double Dare.
Yeah, it's literally about the kids. So I think when I saw this, I was just like, oh, it'd be fun, Lego, but Play-Doh. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. But this is not what this is. This is like a reality show to get kids into reality shows.
Yeah.
And advertise Play-Doh. Can't forget that.
Well, obviously it's a Play-Doh advertisement. They're like, we have all the colors of Play-Doh you can ever imagine.
What about all the flavors?
Oh yeah, you gotta taste them all.
Gotta have the flavors. All right, so let's go over.
Please don't actually taste it. That was a joke.
You're fine. It's non-toxic. They advertise it.
All right, so we got 3 teams. We got the Needy Friends, which was Brian's quip about needing. Then we got the Banana Bros, which they were just wearing banana shirts. And
Love
then there's
them.
The SD All Stars.
That is a garbage name.
I think so. I think the most distinguishing feature about all 3 teams is the ages of the kids. So the Banana Bros, I swear one of the kids must have been like 4. There was like 4 and 6, 4 and 7, maybe somewhere around there. I don't know how to judge kids' ages, but that's where my head is at. And then the SD All Stars had like a 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
This gave some vibes of Guts, where you would have like 3 kids competing against one another, and there'd be like usually be one kid who is much older and just dominating because they're much older and they've been doing stuff for years longer. So it's just it becomes a no contest at that point. So I don't know if that like leveled anything out here age wise though, but I would imagine it has some factor.
Definitely. I mean, and then there's Needy Friends, which kind of were in the middle. They were like 9, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how old kids are. Don't listen to me. Don't come at me, bro. I don't know. So apparently this episode they win $5,000 if they win the competition.
Every episode.
Okay, every episode.
That's good.
Because I watched the beginning of one episode because I clicked on the special, but it just didn't play the right thing. And I don't remember them mentioning that.
Yeah.
So so the first challenge was like some sort of like relay race, which was interesting. So they had the one parent, mostly the dads, kind of show up as like on a sleigh and dressed up as a reindeer, and they had to collect presents. And then the kids unwrap the presents. Then they make ornaments.
Yeah.
And then they throw the ornaments at a parent that's dressed as a tree that is spinning.
And guess what was in the presents? Play-Doh!
This challenge was pretty unwatchable.
It was very silly, and this is definitely one that would speak to kids. Although the parents were like having fun with it.
The
I
parents,
remember one.
I do think that the parents in the show are all in. Like, whatever the producers, the great producers for the show, they're getting these parents all in. They're ready. They're like, no one is like, this is the silliest thing in the world. They're all just here to have fun with their kids, and that showed off pretty well in the show.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to be on, like, this would be fun to be on, which is very disconnected to being fun to watch. Unfun.
That's fair. This challenge also definitely like the bigger kids had a bigger advantage here because they were like could do the like making the ornaments much faster.
Yeah.
They're just better
Yeah.
at Play-Doh. This 4-year-old not good at Play-Doh.
No.
Shocking.
It's like make a straight line on a fish. That's a challenge for a 4-year-old. For a 12-year-old, Okay.
Yeah. So there's that challenge.
My favorite quip though from it was one of the guys who was a reindeer was like, "Oh, I might bring the furry cuffs to my everyday wardrobe. It's a pretty good accessory."
I did laugh at that line. That might be my one chuckle for the whole episode. So then the second challenge was like a jungle gym of sorts, and they had to get like Play-Doh lids, and there were special Play-Doh lids in this jungle gym. And
Yeah.
I have absolutely 0% chance, 0% want to watch kids at a jungle gym. I don't want to. No, thank you.
So we have some podcasters, Harrison James, who used to watch the show Guts, and like a lot of people might have watched it too, but they are very like in on it, and they've watched episodes of it on Paramount Plus.
As an adult?
As an adult, yeah.
Wait, Chris. let's just pause for a second. When
What?
Paramount
What?
come out,
Why are they watching kid shows?
I get where you're coming from. We're gonna walk past that.
It's
why are you bringing this up? You burning our co-hosts? You burning our ex-podcasters here?
I am, because I mean I think that this kind of showcases that it may not be as watchable as we may want it to be, because it's the same type of thing. Like, you're watching kids go through a jungle gym, like, and they're gonna fall. Like, you're gonna be like, oh no, they're just repeatedly failing. Oh, they missed that. I'll get it.
At least it's actually hard. Like, they got to go up the aggro crag or whatever. Like, that's hard. Versus,
I'm sure if you watch the aggro crag again, it's probably like, oh.
Legends of the Hidden Temple pisses me off so much, and it's just like, how is this rewatchable? Like, I don't want to watch kids just run around this thing and get trapped by people and then can't put a stupid thing together.
This is why Nickelodeon of the early 90s is such a weird place, because shit like this happened all the time.
I think, like, when you're in middle school and you're watching other middle schoolers playing basketball, you're having a good time.
Yep.
You watch middle schoolers play basketball now, and you choose to be entertained by that?
Ooh. Okay. Your kid has to be in it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I'm excluding that, yeah.
Counterpoint, though, I'm still in some of my, like, high school Facebook groups, and they're like, yeah, I'm in on watching, like, high school football and, like, other sports from the schools in the area, and I'm like, I don't know if you have kids at these schools. Like, why are you getting so invested in this?
High school football, I think, is a little... So, high school...
It's not just football. It's all high school sports. Like, I've seen basketball advertised and stuff.
Yeah. I can give a pass, like, if you have a varsity team that is, like, uniquely good. Like, they have, like, an all-star basketball football team, and it's like, I can kind of see it, especially in some areas. But yeah, like the run of the mill, especially like JV, like
yeah, I'm just trashing my own high school here and saying we're not at that level.
Yeah, some people, I think it's a weird mentality of like you never left in the high school. You just kept going to high school, like sports after you left high school. It could be like a small town that's the only thing there. Like, there's reasons for it. I think it's like that was the best time of your life when you were the star football, star basketball. Like, sure,
totally.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going with this, so I'm going to get back to the show. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the final challenge here, which was like what we actually came to watch, which was they had to come up with an actual Play-Doh, like, I don't know, diorama. So
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
theme was Winter Wonderland. And so first we have the Banana Bros. They've decided that they're going to make a desert Winter Wonderland for some reason and called it Tombstone, Arizona. And then this other team,
And then wait, did they
which
have a special prop, or were they one?
yeah, we'll get to that. Then
Yeah.
we got the SD All Stars. They're like, we're gonna celebrate Dia de los Muertos, which is in
Yeah.
November. It isn't really any, like, maybe they've turned it into like a Christmas. I don't know, but that was also weird. At least there was snow there. They called it. They had like some sort of snow frenda.
Mhm.
Uh, and then the last team, the Needy Friends, did like an amusement park with a bunch of penguins.
The penguins were cool
So
though. It was nice.
I gotta
so
admit, when they were going through all this, there was enough detail in there that I was like, when the heck did this come about? Like, I didn't see them like doing the bricks and stuff. I didn't see them putting like this much like intricate detail on the penguins and what they're holding slash eating. Like that was kind of cool to see. It wasn't Lego Masters level, but it was like, okay, yeah, like you're putting some artisticness into here.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
yeah,
It was nice.
I think they did a decent job of showing like, okay, here's the challenge, here's what we're gonna do, them making it and then showing it. Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It was fine. But I had already kind of checked out from the show, so I don't really know exactly what's going on. So as we could tell, the 12-year-olds, they did the snow fienda thing, and theirs looked really good. Like in terms of like Play-Doh quality, they had a giant tree, they had like a skeleton, and like it just looked really good. And then we had all the penguins, and it looked like it was they're having fun, but some of the penguins looked not good, and there were
Yeah,
some other things that didn't look great. And then the like 4-year-old, the like Arizona one was like, I guess that's Christmas. And they had a rotating like platform that they put a tree on. And at some point they set up this tree, and then the one, she gets a look at the SD All Stars tree, and it's like 10,000% better than her tree. Like it looked really good. And she just like laughs, cries about her tree. And I thought that that was really good. That's the second best moment in the show for sure.
that was definitely really funny. And I was also like, why do you care? Just make something that's like better. Like, who cares they put all that detail into the tree? Now, granted, that team also put so much effort into everything else that it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but it was just funny that she cared so much about this. And
Yeah.
even the kids were also like reassuring to her, yeah, we got it on a rotating tree. Yeah, let's go. We
I
got
mean, there's a
this.
lot of positivity in the show for sure.
Mhm. Oh, it's
Uh,
very the judging in the show by far the most positive judging on any show we've watched.
Yeah, that was one of my notes. Was like, as they were going into this judging, I'm like, they can say zero bad things about any particular diorama. Nothing. They can't do it. It's kids having fun. It's
Yeah.
just you can't do it. So I'm like, how is this going to work? How are we going to know who's going to win when you can't say anything bad about anyone? And I was just like, well, they didn't say anything bad, and I had no idea who was going to win.
I think,
That
okay,
I thought
so
that was pretty funny.
who ultimately ended up winning though?
The Penguin story, the amusement park. So this show actually does one thing that I wish every single show would do. They gave criteria for the judging. Now,
Mhm.
if they would have actually said what the like the scores were for each one, that would have even been better. So they had to judge on Winter Wonderland, how they use their power up thing, and they have how well they tell a story. So like the penguin one told a story about like the like family out on a winter wonderland and like the kids doing something crazy, and then they had like smoke machine used effectively, whatever. So like I see why they won it with those criteria involved. Whereas like the other one didn't tell a great story but looked a lot better, but that wasn't the whole criteria. So
Yep. And this is also called out by Max, who was like, "Oh, the wrong team totally won." And then I also go on IMDb, and there is one user review, and it's just titled, "Would be nice to see the team that deserves to win actually win." So we're not the only ones who thought, like, "Oh yeah, like just it should just be the best uh, Play-Doh construction." But it, you make a really good point, Chris. I think I'm more aligned with you that they went towards the criteria, and the other team who did Dia de los or Day of the Living, just no.
Day of the Dead.
Oh, it was Day of the Dead? Oh, I thought it was Day
Yeah,
of the
Dia
Living,
de
but
los Muertos means Day of the Dead, but I don't know what they
right.
said in the show.
I mean, Dia de la is just Day of the, so
Yeah.
I just didn't know what the word for living was.
Yeah. I wonder if they changed that criteria each episode, so like that's how you can tell who won and why they won versus like the usual negativity. Because there's no way to say like this team won unless they told us the criteria. So whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we get to some questions?
Well, there's one last thing, and it's how they announced the winner. And all three of the dioramas were like put underneath squishers,
Oh yeah.
and they just hit a button. All of them come down. The winner stops, and everything else gets smushed. Great way to
Yeah, this
announce
is
it.
amazing. This was so good. People need to steal this for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's amazing. All right, we're gonna squip the worst human being. We talked about the host already. This one you definitely we need some drinking rules, and I think the stock one is drink enough so you don't remember watching the show when you put it on. Brian, do you have a real one?
Oh man, I think that you should drink every time a Play-Doh canister is opened.
I think
I'm trying to kill him, Chris.
I think you should drink every time you have a question while you're watching the show. You question your life.
No, what do you got?
Pour your beer in a sippy cup and drink out of that.
Oh,
So
there you
blend
go.
in with the rest of the crowd.
Beautiful.
Should you pour it in a bottle and see if you can finish it before the show ends? Anytime anyone screws up, take a drink. Anytime there's a compliment, you can take a drink.
Anytime there's drama. Oh, sorry, no, go on.
Yeah. Anytime the show reminds you of a Nickelodeon show from the back in the day, take a drink.
Anytime there's the drama, like with the tree.
Would this show be better as a Quibi? And
yes.
I think so. Less show equals better.
No, why?
No, because 5-year-olds don't use Quibi.
Okay.
I mean, we went from free. We're gonna go from Freevee to Roku Original here. We're going so far.
But if you're putting a 5-year-old in front of the TV, you don't want it to be like a 5-minute thing. You're like, take 45 minutes. This is great. Bleed it out.
Blue is only 5 minutes. Not sure the show can hold a 5-year-old's attention, but I'd love to hear from our audience.
Yeah.
Oh.
At minute 29 in our podcast, which you've gotten to. This show.
All right, who's gonna hook up next, and why is it the all pair in the Banana Bros?
Oh, the Manny.
Yeah, the Manny. For sure.
Yeah. The Manny, and what was the woman? She was like their teacher or something.
No, there was a set where there were two teachers. No, was that in a separate episode? I don't know. Yeah. I don't remember.
I forgot what the woman did. Yeah, the Manny was like all up being a Manny. He was great. He owned it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the show really owned being on the show for sure. What do you love about the show? I think this is going to be the hardest one. Brian, what do you love about the show?
I like that there was actually some creativity here, despite it being like, I wouldn't say amateur hour, but that's probably the best way to describe it. Like, it's not Lego Masters where you're like, oh my god, this is a mind blowing creation. No, like it's kids and adults like who have a modern amount of artistic experience creating something cool. And I thought that there was enough done here that it was impressive.
Noah.
I spoke to it before, but the Modern Family concept and pulling that all the way through, kudos to the show.
I love that the show's over. I mean, I think the positivity, I think always is what I enjoy from these shows. So I think it's very positive. Everyone's complimenting each other, like especially the tree situation. That worked pretty well. All right, let's do a rating. So we do a stock ranking system between top, middle, bottom, third. Brian, what do you got for me?
I'm debating whether I should put it in the top of the bottom or bottom of the middle. Because, okay, I'm never going to watch this show again, but if I had a 5-year-old, I would easily put this on. And that's the criteria. Like, it's just not, I'm not the audience.
Noah Singer, as a future father of 2 5-year-olds, what is your rating for the show?
So, yeah, I think you have to look at this from different angles. As a show, as an adult to watch for this podcast, it's bottom of the bottom. And I think I got to stay there. So that's my formal rating, bottom of the bottom. It's really not watchable. Fast forward, as a adult watching a kid or a kid watching this, I think this is probably middle to top. Right? I think it does hold the attention. I think it's silly. I think it's upbeat. I think there's a lot of good stuff there. But formal rating, bottom of the bottom.
So as my mom said, as she was leaving the room after she fell asleep during the show, that she was like, "The show is bad, 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 bad." The stupid show or silly show, all things she said, and I think the show is bottom. I don't know if I could put it bottom of the bottom, but it is very close, if not. I mean, from 1 to 9, if we're putting something that in this bucket, yeah, it's bottom of the bottom. It's really bad. Like I really did not want to watch the show as we were on as I was watching it. So we're gonna put it there. I think Brian, do you have Max's rating?
I mean, I can interpret it from his messages, but it's probably going to be bottom of the bottom.
No, he did post it. I don't know, maybe he just sent it to me. My
Oh, he might have
rating
just sent
is
it to you.
bottom of the bottom. This doesn't work at all. One of the challenges has nothing to do with Play-Doh. The art is bad, and the wrong team won. Is a direct quote from Max there. So you can have his opinion on the wrong team run. I don't think the wrong team won, but you know, based on the criteria that we were given post like delivery of the challenge. So
Yeah, we just found out Max's IMDb username, Greg Theodore.
Greg Theodore, that would be funny.
I mean, it was also written last year, well, in January,
Yeah,
because this was an old one.
He's obviously watching this. All right, so let's do some. Tell us what you thought about the show on Twitter on our poll at Who Put This On. If you have a 5-year-old, let us know how the show goes. I'd be really interested. Brian, what show do we watch? Or do you have any shout outs?
No real shout outs. I'm just catching up on White Lotus, so I will speak on it when I actually finish.
On that show, I thought season 2 was better than season 1. That was really
damn
good.
all right.
Does anyone know like why White Lotus is like everywhere now? Is there a reason for that?
Just because it's on HBO and it was good.
But like,
I think
it's been out for a little bit, right? Like, it's not new.
it ended like a week and a half ago.
That's it.
So yeah, I think that it's one of those mystery box shows that people got excited for on the internet. So then that permeates your like life too, even if you're not like paying that much attention to it.
I see. Okay, so the finale happened. I got it.
Yeah, not
Got
this
it.
week, but last week.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like trying to figure it
Noah,
out. I thought this has been out for a minute.
do you have any shout outs?
Yeah. So I started watching Reservation Dogs on Hulu after seeing it was like pretty recommended. It's good. It's like it takes a little bit of like giving it some time to like let the characters develop a bit and like see all their eccentricities. But like it fits this like mold that I see a lot in modern shows where it's like the stories are broadly appealing, but the focus is like very niche. So like Reservation Dogs is about Native Americans, right? And then you have like Mo, which is about like the immigrant is like Lebanese experience. I believe it's Lebanese, right? And like in oh no, it was Palestinian. And like it's like, but the stories are like just hardships or love, whatever it is, right? So I find it kind of interesting. Like that's where Hollywood is kind of going a little bit. But decent show, still doesn't catch like off the bat. What was excellent, uh, new for me, probably old for a lot of people, is Coda.
Yeah,
Uh,
great movie.
Amazing movie. Yeah, it won Best Picture last year. It's on Apple and just like incredible, like extremely well done.
Child of Death Adults is what it stands for. It's good. I'm going to say that I finally got to the good part of Andor. I think that it took till episode like 5 or 6 for me to be like, okay, now we're getting into it. Now we're on episode like 11, and it's been pretty good. I like it. It's slow, it's very slow show, and it's very slow for a Star Wars show. So you got to kind of keep going. But you've got to watch Barbarian if you like horror movies. It's very good. Don't look anything up. I mean, I guess you can watch the trailer. Trailer doesn't give too much away, but it is very good. Definitely encourage you to watch that. And I think that's it for us this week. You can please vote in our poll on Twitter at Who Put This On and tell us what you thought about this show. And you can find us on Facebook.com/whoputhison. You can mail us questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. See you next time. Okay, bye.